welcome to
a weakest link.
Indeed. Welcome to BeCollaboration Sussex. It's lovely to have you along for this introductory session. Excuse me. So, our commitment to this conversation is that you'll go away with a good understanding of what BeCollaboration is all about. The commitment I'd like from you is to turn off your phones.
Yep.
Turn your heads off real world mode and just be present in the room.
Do we need to take notes?
I don't know, Dave. Would you like to take notes?
I hate people who answer a question.
The answer is most people don't.
Okay.
But if you want to jot some things down to remind yourself of them, by all means feel free. But the question I'd ask is, how are you listening? Is your inner voice saying, I know all this stuff, been here, I know that? Or are you open to hearing something perhaps a little bit different? And just ask yourself, what you're hearing now, how can it help you? So rather than using your existing filters, just put some new filters onto that. And approach it just from the view of, what in this can be useful to me, now, in the future, or to other people that I know. So what is BeCollaboration all about? This is our vision statement, or mission statement, or whatever. Our marketing man tells us that it's not really what we say it is, but it is what we're all about. We bring together talent, technical ability, visionary thinking to empower individuals and organisations. We're passionate about impacting human performance, and we do it with velocity, compassion, humour, and, yes, the L word, love. Not the sort of word you often hear in business presentations. Well, perhaps this isn't exactly a business presentation. See, what we want to have with you today is a heart conversation, not a head conversation. And my objective today is that we share what this is all about, and then you get to choose whether it's something that you want to play with or not. One thing you definitely will not get at the end of this presentation is somebody coming up to you with an application form, a joining form, and saying, you're not leaving the room till you sign. We've never yet asked anyone to join. It has always been that people have decided that it's something that's right for them, so they invite themselves to become collaborators. So, fear not, there is no sale. So where did BeCollaboration come from? Well, it started with our very own Lone Nut. Anybody seen that YouTube video? How to build a movement? The guy dancing on the hillside at the festival, and then his first follower comes and joins him, and it's the way that he greets that first follower that builds the network, so that eventually it becomes the cool thing to do and not the uncool thing to do. If you haven't seen it...
You calling her Ken uncool? That's really mean.
Yeah, but looking made him cool. If you haven't seen that video, Google it.
It's funny.
It is absolutely, but just first follower, it's a brilliant video. But our lone nut is Mr. O'Canally sitting in the back there. Yeah. And his first follower was the wonderful Jill Tiny. And they met on an NLP course, if I remember rightly. And I kind of figured that we're doing similar stuff and we're trying to do it all on our own. And that's like hard work. Surely we can create so much more together. And that was the seed that BeCollaboration was born out of. And they basically spent the last couple of years going around collecting other nutters. Sorry, other collaborators. Talk about my journey to BeCollaboration. Well, I started my working life as a key account manager for some of those big brands, selling to some of those other big brands, and came to the conclusion that they're all rapacious bastards, whichever side of the fence you're sitting. So I had some changes came across in my career, to say the least. The first was that phone call. The phone call from the B&Q buyer telling me that 60% of my turnover had just evaporated. The next, I kind of got back on the horse, got quite good at doing this key account management stuff. And the next was the supplier called in a $1.2 million debt overnight, well, over a weekend actually. So that company disappeared. So I ended up working for a big company which totally wiped me out. And I was really quite ill, so I forced them to give me redundancy. And I came out of corporate world, and eventually I kind of found what I do now, which is Joyful Genius coaching. It's all about helping people to find their joyful genius and make some money out of it and have a great time in their working life. I use things like wealth dynamics, talent dynamics, and a fantastic tool called Core Being. And eventually it worked. But who's had this experience? When you've come out of corporate, any of you have been in corporate, where what you thought was a network was actually a work net. Yeah? Suddenly, all those people who were fascinated to take your phone calls because of your position in the corporate world, they were suddenly not so interested anymore. And you had to build from scratch. Well, that's basically what I had to do. I had to build back from scratch. And I tried loads of different networks, all of whom promised me that they were the solution. And it wasn't really until I found BeCollaboration that I found real like-minded people. And I found a group of people where I feel like everyone is genuinely interested in me succeeding. They're not out for what they can get from me, they're out for how can they help me? How can we work together? What interesting stuff can we get up to together? True like-minded people. So that's why I'm so pleased to be involved in it, and so passionate about getting it spread out and down here in Sussex as well as around London where it has been. So that was me. The current paradigm, the way the world is supposed to be, not. It's all about scarcity. Yeah, it's all about musical chairs. There's not enough chairs. You've got to grab your chair when the music stops. You've got to make sure that you're not found wanting, because there's not enough to go round, is there? What's gone wrong with the world? We're separated. We're kept apart. We're told all sorts of stories, most of which aren't true. But we've got this world where it's all about grab, 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 grab. Look after yourself, look after number one. Keep them separate, because if we keep them separate, they can't become strong together. The big organisations want us to stay trying to do it all on our own. So you've got that kind of broken world, and then we're going to put new technology on the top of that. The new technology is going to create massive leverage. But if that's on top of a broken world, that sounds quite dangerous to me. And we're talking about new technologies like, 3D printing. These days we can actually print blood. It's incredible. And they've got a robot in a Japanese hotel that operates as their receptionist, that is an absolute lookalike for Scarlett Johansson. And she operates perfectly well as a receptionist. That's AI artificial intelligence taken to the extreme. We're going to get whole industries that are taken out by artificial intelligence. Some projections reckon that there's going to be something like 48% unemployment. Or at least only 48% of people are going to have to do labour. What does that mean to the world that's coming forward? How are we going to keep up with all of that, all of these changes that are going on? Of course, our answer is we're going to collaborate. I'd just like you to watch this.
The wonderful part about nature being fractal is that we can use patterns in nature to understand other patterns that exist, because patterns repeat themselves. So now if you want to look at a pattern that's playing itself out on this planet right now that would give us insight about what is going on. So I said, look inside a caterpillar that's growing. And a caterpillar represents, let's say, 7 billion cells living under the same skin. Each cell is a citizen. And guess what? They're like people like us. They're working every day. Cells in the digestive system are taking the food and breaking it down and making products out of it. Some cells are the motility cells. Those are the cells that move the caterpillar around. Structures of like our highways with trucks and vehicles carrying materials all over the place, something like that. Cells of the immune system are taking their job of protecting the system. Respiration system is making sure fresh oxygen is being delivered. So all the cells have jobs. The caterpillar's growing. If you were in there and a reporter, you look around and go, yeah, the economy is going great guns. It's growing every day. Everybody's working, full employment. This is the kind of thing we love to see. How much are we growing every day? Some percent every day. And then the caterpillar reaches a certain stage of growth. And at that stage of growth, it just stops eating. It can't take it anymore. At this point, it's reaching a maximum size. Then if you're a cell inside that community, imagine what would happen. That you're on the job and all of a sudden there's less food coming in and you're a digestive cell. You say, well, man, the work is slowing down here. The factory is slowing down. Then all of a sudden it gets to such a low level that many cells get laid off of the job. Now their cell's not working. Why? There's not enough food coming in to keep them all working. And as the food shuts down, then the other jobs are affected, because if there's no food, then there's no energy, and all the systems start laying off cells, and pretty soon there's massive chaos under the skin of a caterpillar. Why? The system's not growing, the cells are out of work, nothing is evolving, and the thing is falling apart. If you were a cell in that caterpillar body at that time, you would look around and say, oh my God, our world is coming to an end. And yet, in the midst of those billions of cells, in among them are other cells that genetically identical to them, no different. But they think differently. They respond to the signals differently. These cells have the interesting name called imaginal cells. And these imaginal cells come up with new visions. And what happens is, in the midst of all this chaos, when all the other cells are running around thinking the end of the world is coming, the new imaginal cells are laying out new ideas, new visions, a new plan, a new scheme, a new way of life. And around these ideas, the cells reorganize, and they start to create new massive organizations to create something much more fabulous than the previous system. A system that is much more sustainable, a system with a higher level of evolution. And that system they're constructing called the butterfly. So there's a transition from an old world of caterpillar with an old belief system and an old way of life that was no longer sustainable. And therefore, you have two choices in this world right now. You can retain your caterpillar status and go, oh my God, the sky is falling, and be in fear. Or you can say, the caterpillar is going, I want to build the butterfly. Why? Because if I become active and positive in the process of building the butterfly, I'm engaged, I'm working, we're creating the future. If I sit there and bemoan the loss of the caterpillar, then I'm making myself sick and everything around me. Why? I'm not contributing to our evolution. And so, where are we? We're at the demise of the caterpillar stage of civilization and the rise of the butterfly.
Thoughts on that? Who feels like they're a bit of an imaginal cell? One of those things that's going to spark the move from the chaos that we're moving into onto the next stage.
Yeah, I do. Exactly like that. Yeah.
You feel just like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that I believe of you, Phil.
Whenever I've watched that video, and I've seen it many, many times, I always feel like I want to applaud at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going on to the next stage, it's the next thing to do. Now I want to be an imaginal cell, where do I go, where do I sign on? It's just that kind of sort of, let's be in it together. You know, I don't want to be a butterfly, I don't want to be a caterpillar.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? That we can resist the change, or we can become part of the change.
But it's likely to be as traumatic for us as it is for the butterfly from changing from the caterpillar.
Potentially.
Part of the change or make the change?
Absolutely. Yeah. Are we going to drive that change? Are we going to be this imaginal cells that go, ding, I know a different way? Who wants to come and play? Who wants to play my way? Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And I think we're at a stage now where all the old structures are becoming very, very shaky. And we're seeing a lot of reactionary response to that. But maybe we can have a reactive response to that as well, where we can start, as Chris says, we can move things in the direction that we want to move in, not the direction that the reactionary world wants to hold it into. And yes, we are radicals.
But how far can you implement change when you've got a dozen people sat in a room who, in terms of world power, are very small and insignificant?
Absolutely.
We're not going to change the banking system, we're not going to change the politicians in this world that we've got. So what kind of change and difference are you looking to make? Because what that video is about is big statements, big changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so what changes can we make?
Big changes start with small people. Like Margaret Mead said, you know, never underestimate the change that a small group of determined people can make in the world, because that's the only thing that has ever changed the world.
It starts with a flutter of a butterfly sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Chaos theory.
Can I add
A
something?
little bit of a change.
Can I add something? I think that's a really, really revealing question. I really appreciate it, because it was something that's part of my journey for a long time. How can I make a difference? How can, you know, little old me? But I think when we start to look at the way that we've been socialised, the way we've been educated, the way our money system works, it actually works towards that you can't make a difference. And that's where we're left in that powerless, resigned, slightly cynical, maybe, or I'm not saying you are, but as a society.
In my life, I do many things exactly like that to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
and the whole, you know, there's many analogies and stories that you can use to give examples. But in the context of why I'm here in terms of business, you know, I am in it. I'm in business in part to provide for my family.
Sure.
So I need customers. I need to, in the world that we're in, to generate money, to generate an income, to provide, and so on. And really, what is the change that's going to come out of that? Because I suppose I'm not looking in that sphere. I'm not looking to bring down the banks or the politicians. I'm looking to do the best I can for my family.
No, and we're working within a certain paradigm, right? So and we're in a transitional period, an emerging period. So I think for me, just to share just to kind of elaborate on that, is what I found is the more connected I've been, the more the community's building within BeCollaboration, the more connections we made, the more I experience I make a difference, the more the impact of this experience comes back to me, and it's evolving. And it goes from 1 to 2 to 4 to 16.
And it is a balance, and at risk of getting slung out of the PSA for using the starfish story again. Who's heard the starfish story?
Yeah, I was about to quote it, but
exactly. And also, I just want to add, we don't really know, because we are exploring this as well. We are, it's emerging, so that's the exciting.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to always keep in mind with BeCollaboration. Is it's an emerging organisation. In fact, organisation is probably a loose description.
A great question.
But yeah, that is a good question, and getting that balance right is critical. Yeah, you're making your small difference through the charity that you run. You know, Chris is making a difference through his charity. Chris makes a difference by empowering entrepreneurs. You know, there's all sorts of small stuff that we can do that together adds up to something much bigger.
But it's as much about building relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Building relationships puts you in touch with potentially other people who might very well help you to put food on the table, land you that big contract
Yeah.
or something else.
Funny you should say that, Chris.
The check's in the mail, isn't it?
Absolutely. Good man. So, our solution, is it the solution? No, but it's definitely a solution. We see ourselves, we are the imaginal selves. Us in BeCollaboration, everyone in this room. And collaboration is what we do naturally. It's just that the world's kind of become a little bit twisted and set up against that, making it hard for that to happen. And what BeCollaboration is about is connecting you back to the people who believe that you can make a difference, including the person inside you who believes you can make a difference. It's taking that cynicism away and creating possibilities. Because we can't do much on our own, but look what we can achieve together. We've got this entrepreneurial revolution going on at the moment. So many new people are coming into entrepreneurship. Some by choice, some by circumstance. And yet, all of those have the potential to create a change in the world, in their world, or in your world. And every change you make doesn't have to be global. But every change that you make has the potential to become global. All of us, in some small way, have needs to be remarkable. And BeCollaboration is about acknowledging that remarkableness of everybody. Well, that's how I see it anyway. I'm going off piece here, guys. Sorry.
Great job.
The trick is to stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of the curve. And obviously, we see a collaborative model as the best way to achieve that. A model that doesn't leave you out there on your own, trying to do your own thing without help from anybody else. One of the big things that we say in BeCollaboration is context is key. Now, what the hell do we mean by context is key? Trust me, we have a lot of internal conversations about this. But essentially, it's about what's your why. What is it that gets you up in the morning and gets you out there doing stuff? Caffeine. That's the email you'd love. But the world, the way it's set up at the moment, it's all about what can you have? What can you get? It's not about what you're going to do, and it's certainly not who are you going to be. The way the world works at the moment is you're told that when you have lots of customers, then you can do the right marketing, and then you can be a successful business person. When you have lots of friends, then you can go out and socialise, and then you can be happy. But the world actually got it backwards. That's not the right way at all. It's when you are being happy, when you show up as a happy person, that's when you naturally therefore go out and socialise, and then you have lots of good friends. When you show up as a successful person, that's when you're going to do the right things in your business, and that's when you're going to have lots of customers and a successful business. Be comes before do and have. So that context thing is about who are you going to be and why? Who are you going to show up as? BeCollaboration is a very good way to get better at that and to be supported in doing that. See, our plan is there is basically there's more than enough to go around. That's why we always have biscuits. Sorry? They're not stuck out. But there's still more than enough to go around. I don't think we can manage to eat all those. And if we can, there's a second helping coming.
Yeah.
But it's not just about community. BeCollaboration is a community, most definitely, but it's not just about community. But there's three essential parts to BeCollaboration. There's the community, which is the collaborators meetings, where there's now 6 each month. There's 6? Well, from next month.
Tomorrow, next month, yeah.
From next month there'll be 6, and you can go to any of them. And that's where you get your personal development and professional development. So in the known beknowns, which you'll see about later if you're staying for the full collaborators meeting, you get to learn serious business stuff, and you also get the personal development and the simple interaction with other people who think like you. Then you've got what we call Be Active. That's where the projects come in. That's where co-working is happening. That's where there's a commercial reason to be involved. And that might be resourcing your own projects, or it might be getting involved in other people's projects, you know, sticking your nose in and going, can I help? Or it might be getting called in to other people's projects, or projects that BeCollaboration is kicking off. And then the third leg is what we think of as the foundation. And this is the world-changing stuff. Now, we don't necessarily, you know, go and do it in Brussels or the UN or wherever, but we are doing it in small ways, in small areas. You know, people like Beiju, who's around, he'll be here later, you know, does some amazing stuff with sixth formers around entrepreneurship. There's a whole team working on education from the foundation perspective, looking at how do we change education to better support a collaborative type of approach. So that's the three elements, all underpinned by BeCollaboration as a community. So you've got the community, you've got the cash with the co-working, and you've got the contribution. Those are the three core elements of BeCollaboration. Where's our strength come from? Well, really it comes from that context conversation, knowing what the hell we're here for, each of us, and as a group. It comes from the community of being around like-minded people who genuinely support you. It comes from that culture that comes from within. BeCollaboration doesn't have a top-down culture. We basically create it as we go along. It comes from the core values, which at the moment there are 8, and we discuss them at every collaborators meeting. We pick one of them and discuss it in quite some depth and get a much greater understanding of it. And who knows, there may be more that come, we might take some out. It's constantly evolving. We really are making it up as we go along.
I'm disappointed you couldn't keep the alliteration of the C's going.
Oh.
I know, it's a shame. It's just that trust is so important.
But you could make it as capital trust and then celebration on the bottom right.
Oh, I see. We're collaborating already.
I think he's interfering, Joe. I know he's collaborating.
I was bothered by that as well. I like it. Brilliant.
But yeah, the whole trust thing. It doesn't, nothing works without trust. Not properly anyway. That's the biggest friction in the commercial world and in the societal world, is lack of trust. And that's one of the things that BeCollaboration is intended to help resolve. And a group of collaborators, one in particular, is working on a concept called systemic win, and that's where the quadruple win, I actually think it's quintuple, but you know, the quadruple win is built in there. That's win for the individuals, win for the business, win for the organisation, win for society, win for the planet. Yeah? So that everything all works and there's no friction taking away from what humans can produce, what humans can achieve. So, what's the deal? If you fancy becoming a collaborator, it's quickly run through this. It's £50 a month and £150 one-off registration fee. There's meetings every month. I just said there's 6. in the sort of south of England at the moment, but it is spreading. So at the moment we have Sussex, Surrey, London, Essex, Hertfordshire. I forgot Hertfordshire.
How very dare you?
And Swindon is coming, or Wiltshire is coming. The reason I shouldn't have forgotten Hertfordshire is because when I joined BeCollaboration, there was only Hertfordshire. It was the only BeCollaboration group, and once a month I had to get on the train and take myself up to Hertford, and it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Then came London, then Surrey, then Sussex, then Essex, and now Wiltshire coming, as we steadily spread our tentacles out. There's projects going on all the time that you can get involved in. You can start your own projects. You know, we have several collaborators who kind of they've joined, and within about 2 or 3 weeks they've got their own project on the go, and they're pulling people in to start to create something that they couldn't create on their own. You get listed on the website, you get to be part of the social media community. The ongoing training, well, every meeting has a professional development element to it and a personal development element to it. So you're getting real education as well. Plus, most of the collaborators offer some kind of special collaborators deal, so you can get special prices on whatever the collaborators are doing. You get to be in business with fun people. People who are at least as mad as you. You get friendship. I've created some what I think of real friendships within this group, who I know I can rely on. I know if I need some help, they are going to be there for me. When I'm down, they're the guys who are going to pick me up. As it says at the bottom there, learn, develop, grow, share, support and be supported, help and be helped, and generally, have fun. I don't do this for business. Turns out, I've got some business from it, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to have fun. That's okay. Go on.
You saved your seat in the front row.
Right here.
Best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's all about having fun.
Well, that was it. Thank you, Andrew.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, you have missed the whole introduction, but we'll talk you through it anyway. Being part of this community, sorry, it is.
Don't worry for me, I'll catch up.
It
Go ahead.
It is about that heart conversation, and it's about being part of the human species, part of the human family. It's not. We always say, don't join BeCollaboration to get business. Join BeCollaboration to do better business. Hope for a better future. Well, you know, as we come out of that chaos, as the imaginal cells kick in, we, as Chris says, we get to create our own better future. We get to decide which way it goes for ourselves and for the rest of the world through what we achieve for ourselves. What's opportunity mean to you? Where's opportunity going to take you? That opportunity, it might be the opportunity to get involved in world-changing stuff. It might be opportunities to make more money. It's whatever that means to you. The important thing is you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not in BeCollaboration. If you turn up with a mask on, we'll have it off you. And you'll soon realise there's no point, because actually that's not the way this new world works. Being ourselves, being authentic, being relaxed and able to be who we really are. That context of be, do and have. what do you love the most? What do you love to do? What's important to you? What's most important to you? We'd like to think that this is a community that you can bring that to. You can come and do that in this community, become known for that within this community, and create something a little bit special that really matters to you in this very supportive, very forward-looking community. So there's our vision statement again. Just read through that. And just tell me, does that land any differently now you've heard the context of what BeCollaboration is all about? Bring together talent, technical ability and visionary thinking to empower individuals and organisations. We are passionate about impacting human performance, doing it with velocity, compassion, humour, and, oh yes, love. And we have fun! Which, if you stay for the collaborators meeting, you will see. And, thank you for listening. The only stupid question is the one that's in your mind that doesn't find its way to your mouth. Feel free to ask now. Ooh, no questions. No one brave enough to ask questions. So, this is not... This
I'll
is,
ask a question.
yes, Chris.
From your journey,
Yep.
what's the standout moment that you can look back on and think, I'm going to remember that going forwards?
For me, I would say it was when I did the Know and Be Known session at the London meeting. And I stood up in front of a group of people I didn't know that well and shared stuff about me and stuff about what I do. And I was just in flow. You've seen me speak. You imagine the way I speak at breakfast meetings, I'm kind of not bad at that. That day, I was on fire. I was having so much fun. And I think probably the other one was when I did the Genius slot at Dave's meeting in Surrey.
Yeah.
And there is video evidence of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
Any other questions? Okay, well, if you've got questions, feel free to ask them. The collaborators have all got a red dot. So anyone with a red dot is a collaborator and kind of knows what it's all about. Although I don't think any of us know what it's all about. So feel free during the coffee break to ask whoever you like, whatever you like.
Yeah, so I've got a question then.
Yeah, go on.
You said at the start that we're not going to get bombarded with a sales pitch and a form and things. It's up to us to decide how to move forward, that's fine. So, yeah, if we're contemplating that, I suppose my question coming round to it is, how many people have you got already in the area? So if the only meeting I can get to is the Sussex one, who would I be linking up with?
Yeah.
And then, how big is the community taking on board Surrey, Essex, Hertfordshire, don't forget Hertfordshire.
Don't forget Hertfordshire, absolutely. I think total membership is about 70 at the moment. Local to here, not massive. I think I'm probably the only one who's officially a Sussex member, but we have a lot of the collaborators who do come down. So we've got, 8 collaborators come down today to join in with the Surrey crowd?
Yeah.
Or Sussex crowd, rather.
Sorry, crowd.
Yeah, it's been a long day, definitely. So, you'd be coming in at the beginning, and we'd love to welcome you in at the beginning. What I really need right now is some people to join me on this journey.
And the meetings at any one location is once a month?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But there's no collaborator or member restrictions. We want people to go where they want, you know, and meet other people. So it's access to the whole, and we don't plan to change that unless we. Well, I don't think we plan to change it at all. I imagine there's a major capacity issue, but you know, it's a bigger community than just a local meeting. And then it's also there's a lot of other commercial contacts that we're making externally as well, and opportunities with banks and organisations, and there's bigger things going on in the background. Again, depending on where you're at individually, what you're up to, what you're looking for. Jill is really fantastic at kind of really gleaning that and trying to create opportunities. And I think if you get around to talk to people, just find out. I mean, Jerry's got some excellent projects in the pipe because he's sitting next to you, which I don't think we've ever. You know, Jerry, I mean, it's up to you to share that or not, but I mean, you know, there's things Jerry's got involved with. I think prior to BeCollaboration, he wouldn't have had those opportunities, and they're really some amazing opportunities. So it's a slower burn than just wham bam get a deal, because we meet monthly unless you're putting yourself out there.
I mean, in terms of BeCollaboration, I generally have a BeCollaboration meeting or, you know, serious phone call with a group of collaborators probably once a week. So, you know, it's up to you. If you simply turn up for the Sussex meeting, then it'll be once a month. If you get involved in the finance team, might be appropriate for you, or the coaching team, or the business development, or, you know, whatever, then you can very quickly find yourself committing quite a lot of time to it. And it's something I'm being quite...
Well, I think the classic one was Scott, who rang me up to say, Jill, I think I've overcommitted myself, I really can't do it anymore here. I'm in the comms team, I'm in this team, I'm in this team. Well, Scott, actually, there's this little idea I've had.
Sure.
And by the end of the conversation, we went, right, that's definitely the last one. I'm not doing anything else. You've been true to your words since then.
No, the group's come after that, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. One more thing.
You've
One more
started
thing.
the Essex group.
Hard to say no. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the answer to the basic question is, yes, there's not that many in Sussex at the moment. Surrey, Dave's building Surrey quite nicely. We already had quite a few around the Surrey area, which is one of the reasons why I started Surrey. And the London group is always a good one to go to. Yeah, it involves, you know, committing half a day to go along to the meeting. I always find it worth it. I always do Surrey, except next week when I'm on holiday. I tend to do London. I've been up to Essex a few times, and I still do go to Hertford from time to time, because I like it up there.
There's generally a masterclass, isn't there, before the meeting as well?
Yes, and yeah, masterclasses before the main meetings. Whoever does we'll get onto that in a minute, but whoever does the Know and Be Known does a masterclass the following month for just 6 people. So
just to say, I'm a bit more on the commercial side of things, but just last week I got a job with one of the collaborators near Edge, which is more than pays for my food a year. So if you look at it on a sort of commercial basis, and there's a couple of other things I'm tied into, and Ercan's looking at something at the moment which sounds like it's got potential to be quite big. So, you know, that commercial conversation, which is part of it, is the middle bit on that list, is there, and it is growing. And I think if you're in at the start, you've got more opportunity to then be part of that than if you come later, when things are more established.
Yeah. I think I'd add to that as well, though, Jerry. It's like, you imagine now we've spent time getting to know each other, we've developed our relationships, we've learnt from each other, we've shared, so that builds a synergy, and then the opportunities just come off the back of it. And there's loads of examples, and they're very different for different people because of what they're up to, what they're doing. And that's where people got kind of, maybe sometimes I've heard people kind of think of it as a business referral network, and we don't. Doesn't mean people don't. If you know Jerry's a surveyor, if I know someone else is a surveyor, I'd recommend Jerry like that. Jerry is someone else is a surveyor, but that's not the be all end all what's going on here. And there's many opportunities. It depends how you cultivate them, nurture them, and what you learn along the way. I've learned. I mean, Jill, we were just talking about the other day. The amount we've learned as heading this up is incredible. The value that collaborators.
Like I say, to me, it's not somewhere I come to get business, but as a result of it, I do better business. So it's it's not a direct referral network. It's definitely not BNI or 4N or anything like that. It is completely different. it's a community, and I think you can get great business out of it. Now, so what I'm going to suggest is, it's 3 o'clock now, we've got about 10 minutes before the collaborators all pile in and we have the main collaborators meeting. So I suggest we have a cup of tea, ask any other questions you've got of any of the other collaborators, and we'll kick off again at 3:10 for the main collaborators meeting.
And the main meeting will go on till when?
It goes on till 6, but it goes on till you can't be here anymore.
Okay.
My gut feel is you'll enjoy it and you'll want to stay, but if you have stuff that you have to leave for, then we will.
Also, we meet at the pub afterwards, don't we?
We do also go to the pub.
Yeah, that's the best bit, really.
It usually finishes about 8 o'clock. And that's the same with all the meetings. You tend to end up going to the pub and having other conversations afterwards. So,
well done. Mr. Caudle, how are you, mate? Yeah, that was just can't.